Hi, I apologise. I'm a bit croaky today. I've got a bit of a sore throat, but it's all right. I don't feel too bad. Um, I wanted to talk about victim energy and how to kind of move through it and move past it so that it doesn't impact your life too negatively. It can be a really difficult one, I think, because often we can feel pretty hard done by, and like stuff has happened to us that we've really had no control over, which kind of means it's then hard to own it and go, oh well, that happened because I messed up. It's probably not the case. It could be a serious illness, cancer, or all sorts of other things. You could have lost somebody or people close to you. You could have grown up in an unhealthy situation, whether that was down to illness or loss or mental illness and mental illness or mental health problems, that really were out of your control. And all this stuff has happened to you and negatively affected you. It could still be happening now. You could be in an abusive relationship, you could have been bullied at school, or you could be getting bullied at work. And this stuff, there's no excuse really for any of that behavior from somebody else. But if it happens to you, it can really make you feel quite sad and bad inside. It can also make you feel maybe ashamed, because you think, oh God, why did that happen to me? Even illness and abuse in some ways, you kind of think, oh, why did they pick on me? And all these emotions kind of get tied up and stuck in our bodies, but it's not as simple as just going, okay, I'm just going to own it and admit that I made a mistake, because actually, a lot of the time we can't help if we got a bad illness, we can't help if an accident happened, we can't help if someone else got ill, if all that, it's really nothing we can do. And that's kind of okay to accept that. Of course, we can't fight the fact that this stuff happened. We do have to accept that it happened. The problem with victim energy is it really doesn't serve anybody. And of course you need to be sad with it, and you need to feel sad for yourself that it happened. You need to feel anger if that comes up, the shame. You need to feel all those things. But it's sort of feeling them in a way that's empowering to you, and that is going to allow you to then move forward. Because if we wallow in too much sadness and pity and then don't kind of do something really positive and constructive to try and pull ourselves out of it, we can keep going down. And I think when a lot of bad things have happened to us, and maybe it's not just one of those things, maybe it's all of the above, life is hard sometimes, and sometimes we're not really equipped to deal with all of it emotionally or in any other way. And if we don't have the support network around us, that can be really tough. And so it's sort of, how do you go from feeling really rubbish about stuff, really crappy about things, really sad, and getting that balance between, I need to feel the feelings, but I also need to somehow not let them pull me down too much. So what do we do? And it's really very similar to what I mentioned in the previous video, but I really wanted to focus on victim energy because, I think life can be really hard sometimes. We could lose our job for no reason except for the company just had to make some redundancies. All these things can happen. It's that, how do we then pick ourselves back up and get going? And sometimes you can, and you can just go, okay, I'm fine, I'm going to get on with it. And other times you can't. So yeah, we have to really be able to nurture ourselves, when we're feeling, really pulled down and really sad, and really a bit like, God, I'm exhausted, I feel really beaten down. How am I going to pull myself out of that? And, if you get into that kind of energy, then, that's when you really need to go and look inside and maybe get help. Maybe it's therapy or coaching, or just reach out, But I think for me, yes, you've got to feel the feelings, but you've really also got to be really compassionate to yourself, and you've got to put that, virtual arm around yourself and take care of that wounded, hurting part of you. I don't know how you want to do it. You could split it up into, I could split it up into Big Claire, who's the person who can, I would put my arm around a friend if they were sad or hurting or something had happened, and would sit there with them, while they cried or while they were talking about their problems, and just sit there and really have that empathy for them. So I need to do that to myself, to the small or the hurt or the upset Claire. It's almost starting to feel those two people within yourself. And it's about our feelings, it's not in your head. You've got to really feel into those hurt feelings. And then you kind of got to feel into that, well, I do actually have a stronger side of me that can do a lot. And somehow you have to think about, how can I, put an arm around that hurting part of me, because you don't want to split him or her or, they off. You need to really be in that, kind of be there with them, think of that compassion, that empathy. It can help to be, it can help to sort of say, I feel sad with you, or I feel angry with you, I'm here with you. I can really, I can just be here with you. I can really feel that sadness with you. And as you say it, you can start to almost feel the sadness or the anger. And, it's like holding space for yourself. But I think it helps to kind of separate the two, the bit of you that is sad and hurting and in pain and, feeling pretty sorry for yourself. And rightly so, you're entitled to. It's okay when bad stuff happens. But you want that part of you to kind of get smaller and dissolve a bit more. And the bigger part of you to get bigger and just be more nurturing, so that when the small hurt person comes up for some healing, you can quickly wrap your arms around them and, make them feel better. And that gets quicker and quicker the more you practice it. So it's, I think in your meditations, or if you're just breathing, doing some breathing practice, or, just sitting, having some quiet time and just tuning into your body and where the painful bits are and the blocks and the sad or, frustrated or whatever memories come up, or the shame or anything, Don't beat yourself up for having those feelings. Don't beat yourself up for the fact that bad stuff's happened to you. Bad stuff happens to everybody. But you can kind of nurture them and make them feel much better about it. So that was really what I wanted to say on the subject for today. And as I say, I picked on victim energy because I think it can be quite a difficult one sometimes to know how to make it better, and you can't really own it as such, but you can really be with that, with those feelings, and really be with yourself and that hurting part of yourself, and see if you can really feel into that. Okay, thank you for listening, and I hope this has been helpful. And do reach out if you have any questions. Have a great day.